our next guest may have the greatest job in the world. Every day, he gets to greet and talk with the city's most diverse population, all the while surrounded by the sight and smells of amazing food. I'm assuming when no one's looking, Khalid Karadsheh may even reach in to taste, for quality assurance purposes, the diverse delectables behind his counter at Mediterranean Island in Grand Rapids. It's my pleasure to welcome to the show today, Khalid Karadsheh. Khalid, welcome to Feel Like You Belong.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, your family came here from Jordan when you were a teenager. How often do you get back to visit Jordan?
Every 2 years, sometimes 3-4 years, sometimes every year. It all depends when I have time. When work let me have time, that's the problem.
And sometimes when you're self-employed, your boss is the toughest boss.
Sure is, yeah. Well, I'm fortunate that I work with my brother, so I could take some time out where I don't have to worry about the store or my work. So
a little negotiation about whose turn it is to get
yes, there you go.
Vacation.
They can take theirs and I can take mine.
Got it. And as we were chatting a little bit earlier, your wife, unlike you came with your entire family. So your family is mostly this generation, and your kids and nephews and nieces are mostly in the United States. Your wife's family is largely back in Jordan.
Right.
So she needs to get back a little bit more often.
She does. Her sibling or her father, she goes once a year, visit them. So once in a while I'll hop on with her. But yeah, she has to see them, of course, you know. You have to see your family.
Family's family,
so
absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah. So now you came here as a teenager, moved to Chicago.
Right.
What was that like? What was the adaptation like? Do you remember those days?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved Chicago for a while. It's so huge compared to where I was born, a small town in Madaba. Chicago was overwhelming. It took me a while to figure out the bus system to go to school.
Okay.
Yeah. But after that, I got the hang of it, so it was pretty good, you know. Graduated from high school, went to college over there, a couple of years. Then I moved to Holland first. That's how we moved back to Holland. That's how I started some of my businesses after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what was being an immigrant teenager, especially a teenager is just an awkward time anyway, but being an immigrant teenager in a city like Chicago, what were some of your struggles?
Language first, you know, it's very, we learned English in school in Jordan, but it wasn't speaking it.
Okay.
So it took me a while, about a year or so to figure it out. Struggle, I don't know, you know, every kid has a struggle.
Okay. Were kids mean to you?
Well, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't enough to scar me. Okay. I'm pretty sure, you know, it's been 44 years. But yeah, it wasn't enough to put a big impression. You know, I know every school has issues, you know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't bad enough.
Okay.
But yeah, there's bullies and there's kids who want to fight and there's, so.
But you don't look too scarred. So.
No, I didn't have an issue. When you live in Chicago, there's all kinds of different immigrants. Mm-hmm. At the time, in the 70s. So a lot of people, they hang out with each other, you know.
What was your neighborhood like?
Very diverse, very, very diverse.
Okay.
We had, at the beginning, there was a few Arab community, not very big, a lot of Polish. The neighborhood I did, it was a lot of Polish neighborhood. Mm-hmm. A few Spanish, you know, Spanish Latinos. Then after that, it just got bigger and bigger, different kinds of people. So
now the Arab community in Chicago, was that largely Muslim or a lot of Christians?
There was both.
Okay.
Both actually. At the time we were there was more Christian than Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah, there was more Christian than Muslim. Okay. So you know, you join the church, so you get to see your people who not looks like you, but have the same religion. So it's easier to adjust into.
And there's a certain comfort in that.
Yes, of course.
Give you some grounding.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, fast forward from Chicago, you have this wonderful market in Grand Rapids. You're coming up on 20 years now for Mediterranean Island. Yes. Tell us about the genesis of this store, because you're in a big location now, but it wasn't always that.
No. In 1997, we found that location in the same plaza. So we knew we needed a Grand Rapids was getting bigger and had a lot of different ethnic groups, and there was no Middle Eastern store at the time. So we figured, why not try it? It's a good venture. So we did, and 2 years we started adding different products for different kind of people. So first we started, a lot of Eastern European came in. So we added Bosnian and Russian food in the store. We started having requests for more Italian food and Greek food. And our store wasn't big enough. So we had like 4,000 square foot building, and it was hard. Sometimes on Saturday we'll have more people than the actual store could take.
Which is a good problem to have.
It is a good problem.
Maybe the fire marshal doesn't like you so much.
Yeah. So I was lucky. There was a building next to us in the same plaza. The gentleman was retiring, Home Acres. He was retiring, and asked if we'd like to move in. So we did. I went there. We bought the building. Renovated. Put a lot of money in it. It was a big risk to take.
Okay.
It was a big risk, but I knew I was gonna make it. I knew it. So we did. When we moved in there, we added more product. So now we do international. We're not strictly Middle Eastern store.
You've kept the name.
We have Mediterranean island, but it's international market. So we do every nationality, and whatever customer comes in and asks us, we try to get
those
his
items.
product.
Yeah.
Yep.
So give us an example of where countries and regions that people come from who walk in your doors.
Okay. First of all, we have Bosnians, a lot of them. We have Middle Eastern, and Middle Eastern also consists of 22 countries. So, not everyone eats the same.
Right.
And then we have Africans from East and West Africa.
Okay.
So like Sudanese, and we have Somalians, Ethiopian, a lot of Ethiopian that comes in here. And then our newest member are from Nepal.
Oh, interesting.
They've been here like 3-4 years. It's a large community now. So, so we do cater to them. Of course, our main products like Italian. We have a lot of Italian.
Maybe the heart of the Mediterranean, perhaps.
Yeah. So the Italian, the Greek products, and mostly European. So we're trying to cater to whoever want to come in.
Sure. So the one thing that people may not understand is that Mediterranean food is actually a very healthy diet.
Very, very. Olive oil, the beans, for example, if you're vegetarian, we have tons of different beans. Indian or Pakistani, they have like, I would say 50 different beans and lentil, where, you don't have to eat green lentil every day. There's different.
You can vary your diet and be healthy.
And then you got the fava beans, which is high in fiber. Cheeses, very good for you. I know you can't eat a lot, but a little bit of cheese, olive oil, and so.
You have tofus there?
A little bit of tofu, not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oriental food is not a big in our store, but a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's so many Oriental stores in Grand Rapids, so it's pretty hard to compete with their products. So I try not to, but we do have a very small, section of it, but not very much.
And recently you've partnered with Spectrum Health.
We did. Their dietitian department, nutrition, they come in to our store. She has Irene, she has a class twice a year, and she brings them into our store, and I give them a tour. Sometimes I do a cooking demonstration for them, show them how to make tabbouleh and baba ganoush and hummus, and so I show them around, and she loves the spices because she uses that for a dietitian for her nutrition. So yeah, it helps us a lot. It helps us a lot. People need to know about our store, So this is one thing to show people what's like in Grand Rapids.
Sure. What do you like best about your job?
Oh, you know what? I love different cultures. I do, and I love to know about their food. Every day there's something new. I have 12,000 products in my store. How do I know that? Because I keep track. I have it on my computer. So the number keeps going up. So we're up to 12,100 some. But yeah, it's amazing. The different kinds of food people love to eat, you know, so.
And how often are you stumped when people come in with requests? Or by now you start to understand all the different food items, or still a lot of surprises?
No, there's a lot of surprises.
Okay.
I have an app on my phone, a translator.
Okay.
And when somebody asks me for something, of course they don't know what's the name of it in English.
Sure.
So I ask him what language you speak, and then I look it up on my iPhone, and I write it down, or I have him write it down and translate it to me in English. And 90% of the time I have it in the store. They just don't know the name of it.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's awesome.
The iPhone app.
Yeah, yeah. So the theme of our show is belonging.
Yes.
You know, as you think about your journey from Jordan to Chicago and now this medium-sized city of Grand Rapids, what is your understanding of belonging? What does it take to create that?
I feel I belong here more than I have my family, my church. The church I go to has the same people, who same background, even though they were here from the 1800s, you know. Lebanese American, Syrian American, been in Grand Rapids since the turn of the century.
Wow.
So they still have their religion, same, they didn't change, well, a few of them. So we have two of them in Grand Rapids. So I belong to one of them, very active in it. We do sometime cultural events, Middle Eastern dinner once a year. So you have good from both culture. You know, I have my Arab culture that I love and I'm proud of, and I also have the American culture that I love and I admire. So you have both of them good at the same time. So
we have to wrap up in just a second,
Sure.
but what would you like non-immigrant Americans to understand about Arab immigrants?
We're very hardworking people.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very hardworking people. Majority of us, I didn't want to, you know, what's going on in the Middle East is terrible now. But majority of us are really good people. You know, they're really honest, hospitable. But unfortunately, there's wars going on that it gives bad name to our culture, and we're not like that.
Okay. Okay. Last quick question: when somebody comes into your store, what's the one item that they absolutely must try?
Hummus. Tabbouleh. And your favorite grape leaves.
Yes, yes. I was in this last month by some. So awesome. Well, time has flown by, but it's been a real pleasure talking with you.
Well,
thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I hope we had a good time today, and it was good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I love what I do as a professor at Aquinas College. I love the environment. Grand Rapids in particular, the culture that is there, and the geography too. I mean, we're very close to a beautiful lake, and it's a beautiful area to be.